Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm so glad that you're here, and it's a time of the year where we're all kind of anticipating the spring and the annuals that are going to be hitting the garden centers very soon so that we can add color to our garden. So I thought it might be a nice time while we wait for those annuals to become available to talk about some of the things that have been working in our yard that I have tried out and give you some kind of perspective on how they've done for us. So what you see before me right here is a beautiful annual from Proven Winners called Double Blue, and this is a Calabacora, or a what they call a Superbells, and it's done immensely well for us, and it's just absolutely beautiful. As you can tell, it looks like there's two different colored blooms on this one plant, and that's because when they start to bloom, they start really deep purple, and then as they age over time, they turn to a much lighter variegated lavender bloom. And it's really nice because, it almost looks kind of like it's silverish, but yet lavender at the same time. It's actually really pretty. Now, what led me to trial these is because of the actual summer heat that we had last year. I had Superbells Great Punch in on the wall here, along with my Superbells Dreamsicle. And the Dreamsicle survived the heat that we had, but the Great Punch, it was just too hot, I think, against this hot wall. It just fried them to a crisp. So I had to remove those, and I thought to myself, you know what, since I don't typically see a lot of Proven Winners annuals in our area, especially at the end of the summer, we see them typically in the spring. Like our Lowe's will carry various varieties, but we don't have a lot to choose from. I thought it might be a good idea to go on the Proven Winners website and order something that I don't typically see around here, and this was one of them for sure. So once I got them in the mail, I got them quickly planted up. So what I did was I used the moisture control soil from Miracle Grow and put some flower tone in the pot at the base when I planted these. You'll probably remember if you watched that video. And then every week I would try to hit this with a little bit of that water-soluble fertilizer from Proven Winners, because that water-soluble is exactly what they need to maintain blooms. Now through the winter, I've kind of tapered off because they don't put on a lot of growth, but they have through our winter, like this is the mid-February mark, they have continued to bloom the whole time, which is amazing because I haven't really done too much of anything to these things. They're very, very low maintenance, and I think they've really enjoyed being along the block wall because it doesn't get as cold. And when it warms up during the day, it kind of radiates the heat throughout the night from the day's sun. So one of the other things that is important to remember about Calabacoa, or Superbells in this case, is that they are best suited for a container or a hanging basket. They don't typically do well when we plant them in the landscape because the ground stays moist too long and it promotes root rot. They really do enjoy drying out and having that time in between to be watered and then dry out. If that is the situation for you where you are allowing them to do that, they're going to do really well with you, especially with the water-soluble fertilizer. So one more note to add to that. But anyways, if you haven't seen this in your garden center, or if you do see it, give it a try. And if you haven't seen it, then you could always order it from Proven Winners if they do have it available. I highly recommend it. It's really pretty. The blooms kind of remind me of an impatient, a double impatient, or a small little rosettes. It's really nice, and it gives, I think, a little bit bigger impact in the garden because the blooms are a little bit more substantial. They're an exceptionally wonderful annual to have in your garden, and they bloom and bloom and bloom. My neighbors sometimes tell me, because of course we're here in Southern California, how do you keep your flowers in that continuous bloom state? And I always tell them I'm really not doing too much of anything but coming by with a little fertilizer every once in a while when I remember. So thinking about the spring, this one's a great one. So if you see it, you may want to give it a try. You never know what it can do in your garden. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you guys being here. See you next time. Bye-bye.